There's a lot of confusion about the differences between service dogs, emotional support animals, and therapy dogs. Let's see if we can clear some of that up. Hi, I'm Tim Steele, a dog trainer based in Orlando, Florida. My work covers everything from new puppies to fear and aggression cases and separation anxiety all over the US and all over the world. Let's start with service dogs. These dogs must be trained to help their handler with one or more specific tasks which provide assistance needed due to a recognized disability. The dog is covered under the Americans with Disabilities Act and therefore has the right to go into spaces where the public has access, including stores, theaters, museums, and restaurants. They're also allowed on airplanes and in housing units that may otherwise prohibit pet dogs. No official certification for service dogs exists. Anyone trying to sell you a certification, well, it's a scam. And there are a lot of those companies online. You don't need a certificate or an ID card or a vest for the dog to wear or any other item as long as your dog is trained to perform one or more behaviors to help mitigate your disability. This training might be fast or it might take years, depending on the specific tasks involved. In general, you should assume that it will be 2 years or more before a new puppy is ready to act as a service dog. Many organizations provide fully trained dogs which have been trained for 2 years or more, but you're allowed to train the dog yourself or hire a professional trainer for help. And though I've never actually seen one myself, in addition to dogs, you could actually have a miniature horse acting as your service animal, but not other animals. Emotional support animals are entirely different than service dogs. First, an emotional support animal doesn't even have to be a dog. It could be any animal at all. The primary job of these animals is simply to make you feel better in their presence, and they don't require any specific training. But there are more limitations on emotional support animals. First, you do need a sort of certification in the form of a letter from your mental health professional stating that they've prescribed the animal for your welfare. But the animal does not have public access rights. Any place that a pet is allowed, your emotional support animal is allowed too. But that means they're not allowed in grocery stores, restaurants, or other places that don't allow pet dogs. Even if a place allows pet dogs, they aren't required by law to allow you to bring in your emotional support peacock. Airlines in the USA recently changed the rules, and now emotional support animals are not allowed on planes. Emotional support animals are allowed in housing where pets may not be, but only with that doctor's note, of course. And if the animal is disruptive or does damage to the house or apartment, they can still be evicted. Therapy dogs are another designation that is sometimes confusing. Therapy dogs are carefully selected and carefully trained dogs who are taken into schools, hospitals, nursing homes, hospice facilities, and other places by invitation only. They don't have a right to go to those places, but come when invited. They are there to make the residents, patients, students, clients, or employees of those locations feel better. You can't simply take your dog to the hospital and let them go from room to room greeting people. The hospital security staff will show you to the front door. You could even be arrested for trespassing. Instead, you sign up to work with a therapy dog organization in your area who will test your dog and might provide the dog and you with training. Some organizations provide the training and others describe the training that they require, but then you're responsible for making sure the dog is trained yourself. These dogs typically have to be pretty bomb-proof. They can't be afraid of loud noises or smells and must be okay with fairly invasive body handling. They can't be noisy, jump on people, or otherwise act in a way that could be disruptive or possibly even dangerous. Therapy dogs aren't there to make their handler feel better, but to make others feel better. So as you can see here on this chart, there are a lot of differences between service dogs, emotional support animals, and therapy dogs. The biggest difference between them is where they're allowed to go, whether or not they're allowed to fly on commercial airlines, and whether or not they are allowed in housing that prohibits pets. The training requirements vary widely from none at all for emotional support animals to extensive training for some specific tasks that service dogs perform. I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to contact me on my website if you have any questions about this or about training your dog. Thanks.